You know that feeling when you suddenly realize, wait a minute, have I been wrong my entire life? Yeah, buckle up, because today we're diving headfirst into the matrix of misinformation. Urban legends dressed as facts, science fiction sold as truth, and you've been buying it all, with zero refund. We're about to blow the lid off the everyday lies you've been spoon-fed since kindergarten. Spoiler, some of them are so iconic, they even show up in school books, movies, and trivia apps. So get ready to uninstall everything you thought was true. This is, we only use 10% of our brain. Oh, really? Then explain how you're managing to scroll TikTok, eat cereal, ignore texts, and still worry about your existential dread. All at once? This myth has been around for over a century, and it's pure science fiction. Neurologists have confirmed through brain scans that we use virtually every part of the brain, just not all at the same time. Even while sleeping, your brain is working overtime like a stressed intern in finals week. So unless you're secretly a cucumber, you're definitely using more than 10%. Vikings wore horned helmets. You've seen the image 1,000 times, like burly Viking warriors charging into battle with badass horned helmets. Well, spoiler alert, that's a cosplay fantasy. There's zero archaeological evidence that Vikings wore horned helmets in combat. The myth started in the 1800s, thanks to opera costume designers who wanted something extra for their Viking-themed productions. Basically, Richard Wagner's stylist is responsible for the lie you believed for 20 years. In reality, those horns would have been a tactical disaster. Imagine trying to dodge arrows with 2 bull handles on your head. Goldfish have a 3-second memory. Imagine being cursed to relive the same 3 seconds over and over. Like, oh look, a rock. Oh look, a rock. Oh lo. Yeah, no. Goldfish are not in some aquatic version of Groundhog Day. Studies show they can remember things for months. They can even be trained to respond to lights, sounds, and food cues. Basically, your pet goldfish might be more consistent than your last relationship. So, let's put some respect on the fins, okay? The Great Wall of China is visible from space. This one is the Chuck Norris of geography myths. Unkillable, repeated endlessly, and kinda cool sounding. But no, astronauts can't just peek out the window and go, oh look, there's China's ancient flex. The truth? The Great Wall is narrow and made of materials that blend into the landscape. From low Earth orbit, it's incredibly hard to spot without a zoom lens. And even then, it's easier to see highways, airports, and cities. In fact, most astronauts say it's not visible to the naked eye. So if you believe this, don't feel bad. Even NASA had to correct itself once. Bats are blind. Blind as a bat, they say, like it's a scientific fact. But here's the twist. Bats can see just fine. Some species can even see better than humans in low light. Yes, bats use echolocation, but not because they're blind. It's just their Batman-level upgrade for hunting at night. They're like the ultimate stealth pilots with night vision and sonar. Blind? Please. They're flying Marvel characters. So next time someone calls themselves blind as a bat, just know they're insulting bats and themselves unfairly. Humans only have 5 senses: sight, smell, taste, touch, hearing. That's the classic list. But guess what? That list is a cute little lie we tell in school. In reality, humans have far more than 5 senses. There's proprioception, knowing where your limbs are without looking; equilibrioception, sense of balance; thermoception, sense of temperature; nociception, pain; and even chronoception, perception of time passing. Although yours might lag during Monday meetings. Depending on how you count them, we have anywhere from 9 to over 20 senses. So yeah, you're basically a sensory Swiss Army knife, just underappreciated. You swallow 8 spiders a year in your sleep. Let's just pause and think. Who's running these bedtime spider intake statistics? A team of insomniac arachnologists with night vision goggles and tiny bug counters? This fact started as a joke in a magazine. Literally. It was published to show how easily misinformation spreads. And ironically, it became one of the most widely believed myths. Spiders don't want to crawl into your mouth. You're snoring, breathing, drooling. It's basically a windy cave full of danger. Spiders want peace. You're the haunted house. So sleep tight. The spiders are not interested. Mount Everest is the tallest mountain in the world. Technically, yes, if you're measuring from sea level to summit. But here's the twist. Everest isn't the tallest mountain overall. It just cheats by starting at a high altitude. If you measure from base to peak, the real MVP is Mauna Kea in Hawaii. Most of it is underwater, but from base to top, it stands taller than Everest by over 1,300 meters. So Everest gets the fame, but Mauna Kea's got the height. It's like a mountain iceberg. Quiet, massive, and criminally underrated. Sugar makes kids hyperactive. Every parent at a birthday party is convinced, oh no, he had cake. Now he's going to bounce off the walls. But here's the truth bomb. There's no scientific proof that sugar causes hyperactivity in children. Multiple studies have tested this, including those with parents who thought their kids had sugar when they didn't. And guess what? The parents still reported their kids were more hyper. It's a placebo with frosting. What really gets kids hyped? The party, the excitement, the chaos. Sugar's just the scapegoat because it's sweet, visible, and easy to blame. Hair and nails keep growing after you die. Creepy, right? The idea that corpses just keep sprouting hair and nails like undead chia pets. But it's a total misunderstanding of biology. What actually happens is the skin dehydrates and shrinks, pulling away from hair and nails, which makes them look longer. No growth, just mummy-level moisture loss. So unless you're a zombie with a salon appointment, your post-mortem glow-up is not real. Your blood is blue until it touches oxygen. You've probably heard this in school, or looked at your wrist and thought, yep, those veins are definitely blue. But here's the reality. Your blood is always red. It just varies from bright red, with oxygen, to dark red, without oxygen. So why do veins look blue under your skin? It's an optical illusion. The way light penetrates your skin and bounces back creates that bluish effect. It's a trick of the flesh, not a color change. In other words, you're not secretly a Smurf on the inside. Cracking your knuckles causes arthritis. That ominous pop sound, followed by the dramatic gasp from your grandma. Stop that or you'll ruin your joints. But here's the truth. No scientific study has found a link between knuckle cracking and arthritis. The sound comes from gas bubbles in your joint fluid bursting, not bones grinding or ligaments snapping. One doctor even cracked the knuckles on just one hand for decades to prove the point. Result: no arthritis in either hand, just a lifetime of annoying everyone around him. Humans evolved from chimpanzees. Sounds logical at first. I mean, they kind of look like us if we were stuck in 2007 without razors. But this is a classic case of oversimplified evolution gone viral. Humans didn't evolve from chimpanzees. We share a common ancestor that lived about 6 to 7 million years ago. Think of it like two cousins who took different life paths. One became a software engineer, the other joined a jungle commune. So no, chimps aren't our parents. They're more like distant relatives with intense eye contact. Alcohol kills brain cells. We've all heard it. One wild party and boom, there go 100 neurons. But here's the twist. Alcohol doesn't kill brain cells directly. What it does is mess with the communication between them. Heavy drinking can damage brain tissue over time, sure, especially in the prefrontal cortex, aka your decision-making HQ. But it's more like brain lag than brain genocide. So no, you didn't nuke half your brain last New Year's, but maybe don't test that every weekend, okay? Shaving makes your hair grow back thicker. This one's been whispered in every bathroom mirror since puberty. Don't shave and it'll grow back like a Brillo pad. But nope, that's a total illusion. Shaving does not change the thickness, color, or rate of hair growth. What actually happens is this. When you shave, the hair gets cut at the surface, making the end blunt. So when it grows back, it feels coarser, like stubble. But it's not thicker, it's just angrier. So you can shave, wax, or laser away. Your follicles aren't plotting revenge. The tongue has specific taste zones. Sweet at the tip, bitter at the back, salty on the sides. Sounds official, right? But the truth is, your entire tongue can taste all flavors. That famous tongue map is based on a misinterpretation of an old German paper. Someone mistranslated the data, and voila, a fake science diagram was born. In reality, all regions of the tongue contain receptors for all 5 tastes: sweet, salty, sour, bitter, and umami. So go ahead, taste the rainbow wherever you like. You have to wait 24 hours before reporting a missing person. This one has been cemented by crime shows and movies. We can't do anything until it's been 24 hours. But in reality, that delay can be dangerous and isn't required. Police can, and often do, take immediate action, especially if the person is a child, elderly, or if there are suspicious circumstances. Waiting could mean losing valuable time during a critical window. So if someone you care about disappears, don't wait. Report it immediately. Hollywood lied. Your instincts didn't. Gold is the rarest metal on Earth. Gold gets all the glam. Shiny, valuable, and worshipped for millennia. But rare? Not even close. Gold isn't even in the top 10 rarest metals. Metals like rhodium, osmium, and iridium make gold look downright common. Rhodium, for example, is about 100 times rarer than gold and way more expensive per gram. So why the gold hype? It's soft, pretty, doesn't tarnish, and let's be honest, humanity loves a bit of bling with their symbolism. But rare? Nah, it's just popular. Eating carrots improves your night vision. Ah yes, the legendary carrot goggles. This myth exploded during World War II, and it was actually British propaganda. The Royal Air Force claimed their pilots had insane night vision thanks to carrots. But in reality, they were covering up the use of radar technology that let them shoot down enemy planes at night. The lie worked, and now we're all chomping carrots thinking we're unlocking eye upgrades. Yes, carrots are good for eye health, but they won't turn you into a nocturnal sniper. Dropping a penny from a skyscraper can kill someone. The idea is cinematic. A penny falling from the Empire State Building, slicing through someone's skull like a ninja coin of doom. But physics says, relax. A penny is too flat, too light, and too slow. Terminal velocity kicks in around 50 to 65 kilometers per hour, 30 to 40 miles per hour. Fast, sure, but not bullet fast. It would sting, maybe leave a small bruise, but kill you? Nope. You're more likely to be emotionally damaged by the myth than physically by the penny. So, if you're ever near a skyscraper, the real danger isn't change, it's people. If you touch a baby bird, the mother will abandon it. We all heard it as kids. Don't touch the baby bird. The mom will smell you and reject it. But birds aren't that dramatic, or that into scent. Most birds have a terrible sense of smell. They rely on sight and sound, not your sweaty human fingerprint. In fact, many bird species are quite dedicated parents. If their chick falls, they'll often keep feeding it, or even try to care for it on the ground. So if you see a fallen chick, call a wildlife rescue. Don't just walk away in fear of becoming the villain in some bird soap opera. The moon has a dark side that never sees sunlight. Sounds poetic, right? The dark side of the moon. Mysterious, moody, Pink Floyd-ish. But here's the truth, there's no permanent dark side of the moon. What we really have is a far side, the half we never see from Earth because the moon is tidally locked. But that side gets just as much sunlight as the one we do see. It has lunar mornings, lunar sunsets, and probably a ton of rocks tired of being misunderstood. So yeah, the dark side is just the shy side, not the night side. Body heat escapes mostly through your head. You've probably heard it on a cold day. Wear a hat. 80% of your body heat escapes through your head. Sounds scientific, but nope. That claim came from a flawed military experiment in the 1950s where test subjects wore Arctic gear, but no hat. Of course, most heat escaped from the only exposed part of the body, the head. If you leave any part of your body uncovered in freezing temperatures, heat escapes from there. So, it's not your head that's special, it's just usually the part you forget to dress. If you touch a toad, you'll get warts. Poor toads. They've been framed like the criminals of the amphibian world, just because they look like walking skin conditions. But here's the truth. Warts are caused by human viruses, not toads. Specifically by strains of the human papillomavirus, HPV. Toads have bumpy skin, sure, but those are glands, not wart factories. You can pick one up, gently please, and you're not going to grow lumps like a cartoon villain. So next time you see a toad, don't scream. Apologize. You need to drink 8 glasses of water a day. 8 glasses. That magic number that shows up in every health blog, school pamphlet, and guilty conscience. But here's the splash of truth. There's no scientific consensus that everyone needs exactly 8 glasses daily. Hydration needs vary wildly depending on your body, activity, food intake, and climate. Plus, a lot of your water comes from food. Fruits, veggies, soups, even pasta. And guess what? If you're thirsty, that's your body's elegant built-in notification system. So, no, you're not turning into a raisin if you only drank 6. Chill. You should wait an hour after eating before swimming. You know the warning? If you swim right after eating, you'll cramp, sink, and maybe be eaten by pool sharks. But let's dial down the drama. There's no evidence that eating before swimming causes dangerous cramps. Your body is perfectly capable of digesting food and moving your limbs at the same time. At worst, you might feel slightly sluggish, like trying to do math after Thanksgiving dinner. Unless you're doing competitive triathlons right after dessert, you're probably fine. Dogs only see in black and white. This myth has been around for ages, that dogs live in some sad noir version of the world, like furry detectives in a black and white movie. But science says not true. Dogs do see color, just not the same way humans do. They have dichromatic vision, which means they mostly see shades of blue and yellow, but struggle with reds and greens. It's kind of like living with a built-in Instagram filter, but with way more drooling. So, no, your dog isn't colorblind. He's just seeing the world in chill mode. So, how many of these false facts were quietly shaping the way you saw the world? The truth is, misinformation doesn't always scream. It whispers. It slips into textbooks, cartoons, conversations, until it feels like common sense. But just because something is familiar doesn't make it true. And unlearning, well, that takes courage. It's not about feeling ashamed for being wrong. It's about having the curiosity, the humility, and the clarity to ask, what else have I accepted without question? That's the real power of knowledge. So not just learning, but relearning, evolving. If this video helped you see things differently, take a second to like it. It helps this kind of content reach more minds. Subscribe if you believe curiosity should be rewarded, not ridiculed. And leave a comment with a myth you've always wondered about. It might just be the next story we explore together. Until then, keep questioning, keep learning, and above all, stay awake.